Now, exactly 1 year after the Nigerian Supreme Court ruled that local governments must receive funds directly, the federal government is still routing their money through state governments. An investigation by a national newspaper reveals that the state governors have held on to over 4.5 trillion naira meant for local councils, despite the court's clear directive in July of 2024. The ruling declared it unconstitutional to channel local government allocations through states. It ordered direct payments from the Federation account. The federal government responded by setting up a committee and directing the central bank to open accounts for all 774 local government councils. But 1 year later, the process remains stalled. Monthly data from the Federation account show local governments got nearly 25% of total allocations, but payment still passes through state governments. Now, for expert analysis on this continued delay in implementation of local council autonomy and why President Tinubu urged constituents to hold governors accountable for funds allocated to the states. Joining us is Sam Oniugbo, member NEDC, as he joins us here on Newsday. I want to say thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much indeed.
What do you make of this unfortunate development on something that should be a foregone issue?
Well, people easily say it is the Nigerian factor, but I do not agree because when we came up with a unified local government system, that's when it was done in 1976. Yeah. The purpose was just to make sure we have a unified local government system, move away from the native authority and the confusion that characterized the past, and then have a clearly demarcated, structured local government system with functions easily delineated. But over time, during the military, maybe we had a little bit of success, and in the early parts of this Fourth Republic, from 1999 to 2002, 2003, the local governments ran well because I can use my own local government, Ikuano, in Abia State, as an example, where the local government chairman could embark on road construction, electricity projects, those kind of things, markets, and was actually able to hold together the youths and the young people within the local government. So he was actually, discharging his functions. But I think after the local governments, that's ALGON, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, tried to get the National Assembly to amend, to give them more powers and extend their tenure and all that, and it failed. I think that's where, from that time till now, the governors have not let them out. They're still holding them because from what you just read, we are not generating it. It's the governors who are still holding them. And you have seen that Mr. President is concerned. Because if you hold the local governments, if the local governments are properly discharging their responsibilities, you find that the chairman, they'll be able to hold the youths. They're able to know who is capable, let me put it that way, of making trouble, and be able to rein him in, either by engaging him or by, that way you probably not be experiencing what we're experiencing with security today.
Okay, make it make sense too. An average Nigerian that is looking at this from the outside, this should be a simple redirection of funds.
Absolutely.
So the question is, if the federal government has pushed through its political will to ensure this happens, the court of competent jurisdiction, the highest court in the land, has ruled on this. Why is the central bank doing otherwise?
Well, you know that you have Section 162 of the Constitution. These things are still in the pipeline, the amendment. And I just said we don't call it the Nigerian thing, but you find that the federal government has done what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
The federal government has also gone ahead to make sure that we have a transparent process, and for which we have to commend Mr. President for what he's been able to do. But you see that even a few governors went as far as passing laws to make sure that whatever projects that the local government chairman wanted to embark upon, they will clear them with the governor.
But that doesn't still. My own question is very simple.
It's part of it. That's
why are the money still getting to the governors when the Supreme Court has ruled? Because if the Supreme Court rules, you can only take it up to God.
No, I've cleared that, and I said that we are here to. You have joint state and local government account.
Yes.
It's still there in the Constitution. It's not been amended.
Yes.
Now, I think that by the panel or committee that the federal government set up, they are looking for ways of being able to do this without necessarily, violating or offending the provisions of the Constitution. So I think that's part of the hurdle. But this is a federating, the nation of the federal government, the state, and the local government. But in this case, perhaps you permit me to say that the governors have found it a little bit difficult to allow the local governments to breathe freely and operate. I just gave you a background,
yes,
how it was and what we're experiencing now. So I think that's where the problem is. The problem is still within the governors.
All right. So what can be done in the immediate? Because after 1 year, this is still persistent. What can be done to probably have the ruling of the Supreme Court come to fruition? What can be done, in your own opinion?
My opinion, actually, well, a little bit of persuasion, a little bit of the people who own the money. Because, when you occupy an elective office, like the governor, the House of Reps, the local government chairman, you did not elect yourself. I know that the election of local government chairman in Nigeria has been a problematic issue. That has not even been resolved. Because that's why some of us, when I was in the National Assembly, I represented the Southeast in the Joint Technical Committee of the National Assembly to be able to look at the electoral bill, which eventually is now an act. And one of the critical issues that we handled was how to make sure that the election of local government officials is almost in compliance with the other election, particularly federal elections. And that's why we have section 150 there. If you check 150, subsection 3 down, you will find that we specifically said if you conduct a local government election that is not in agreement with the provisions of this act, that it is invalid. And I don't know whether that was part of what was used in Rivers State, but I don't have the details. It is all in a bid to liberate the local governments, to make sure that these local governments can really deliver, perform the roles that they've been given. Section 7 guarantees that we should have a democratically elected local government. So there's no question about whether it is a third tier or not. But if you listen to some of the governors, those who actually participated in holding these funds, but who are either in the Senate now or somewhere else, they will tell you that the thing needs to be cleared. So it is for us, those who elected these people, to play their own role, to be able to ask questions, because I've seen a lot of questions.
Yeah, no,
we've seen a lot of, we have to ask a coordinated question. We've seen a lot of questions now coming from people saying, well, this is how much the local government, for instance, in May of what was shared in May 2023, local government got about 195 billion. But if you check what was shared in 2024 May, just a comparative analysis, you would find that it was well over 290-something billion. Question, where has that money gone to, since most of the local governments are not just doing anything at all?
So if I were to double down on my own stance, the reason why I asked this question is that rulings from the Supreme Court are not suggestions. They are not open to interpretations. They are not open to appeals. It is final and decisive. But here we find ourselves still treating it like a suggestion that can or should be taken by the governors on how to go about this local government allocation. Hence my question, how do we enforce the rule of law? Because the governors and those in charge of these funds operate under the table of the rule of law and not above the table or not apart the table with the rule of law. So how do we ensure that we enforce it? Because you say we should begin to ask questions. Asking questions are suggestive moves.
I'll be able to perhaps clear this a little bit
please
for you. See, when I say ask questions, I just made it. You know, the office of the citizen is the most important office of the country. I just referred to some governors who were governors and who held on to this local government and who also talked about how they conducted the elections when they were in office. But some of them are either out of office or in Senate or somewhere now. It is still the people who have to ask these questions. And I'll give you an instance. When I did one paper then on local government administration, I was proposing that we should have like the community development associations within the local government, be able to meet with the chairman. I said, okay, this was brought. This is our location for which one is coming to our community. For instance, in my local government, we have 4 clans. The presidents general of these clans should be able to get together and ask the local government chairman. This is what we saw from Federation Account Allocation Committee. This is what was allocated. This year, this month, for instance, not being precise, we got 450 million. Last month, we got 500. Put this together. We have not seen you do anything at all. You have not done anything at all. What exactly is going on? When you ask that question, the chairman will be put in a position to tell you that it is the governor that's been holding the money. But right now, it is just in the air. The Supreme Court judgment, yes, implementation. You see, the central bank is trying to come up with a committee because it is something that is holding everyone here because of the actions of the government.
So are you saying, no, what you're saying, I think I see your line of reasoning, but are you saying that constitutionally, the governor has the right to still hold on to local government funds as it is right now?
If it were so, I don't think we'll be bothering about setting up a committee and looking for a way to make sure you get it from them. Do you know they're not holding it, or, legally or constitutionally? I pointed out something here that 1 or 2 governors had to ask their state houses of assembly to pass a law to say whatever that comes. Do you get that? Just use that as a reference point. Clearly, the bottleneck is with the governors. There's no doubt about that. And it is up to the people to begin to ask those questions, extract responses from their local government chairman, and use that as basis. Because right now it's still a guesswork.
All right.
Yeah, because you go to some areas, you go to some local governments, you see basically nothing happening. But when you put together the amount that they have received over the months, you see it running into billions of naira. So where has the money gone to?
I want to say many thanks to you, Mr. Sam Oniugbo, for trying to shed more light on this. And we hope that this changes sooner than later.
We are looking forward. And we want to thank Mr. President for actually being transparent with the funds and making sure that they are getting these funds. Funds more than, I used to be Commissioner for Finance before I went to the House. I know that what they are getting is maybe 3 times or 4 times what people got before. And people did more projects that were verifiable as local government chairman than what is going on now.
All right, thank you very much for your time today.